Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, look what has just arrived. Another pre-war 999. Now, I found this one for $12, and the owner told me that it had been in storage for 40 years. Think of that. This thing's been sitting in a box in an attic for 40 years. Anyway, I just brought it home, got it running. One thing I noticed is someone had coated the contacts with solder. And they had coated them so thickly that when I finally got this engine running, it would just sit here and spin. It was sitting much too high. This solder was built up way too high. And why they soldered it, I have no idea. The contacts are not that bad and these grooves are not worn that deep. So I don't know why they did it, but someone years ago tried to get this engine running and obviously failed. You can see the rust on the wheels. Overall, not terrible condition, but it hasn't been stored well. You can tell that. So it was dead as a hammer when I first got it. The E unit would cycle, but it would not run the engine. So I bypassed the E unit, and I find that on lots and lots of these engines, these E units just get coated with oxide, and there's no way, there's no practical way to get in there and repair that E unit or clean it unless you want to pull the wheels off and split the case. It's much easier just to run a bypass, which is what I do on probably 90% of these engines that don't run. And a bit of lubing and tuning, and this engine is actually running quite well. So let me put it back on the track. It's got the front and rear trucks, as you see. So it hasn't been messed with other than that lousy soldering job. So let's put it on the track and get this running. All right, good enough. Let me pull the camera off the tripod. So, been in storage for 40 years. The engine's been running about 15 minutes. It doesn't take long to get these running if you know how these motors work. So let me turn on the power. We'll take this around the track. I'm running it on the outside rail. It's pulling Lionel. So it's running at a good constant speed. So having not run for 40 years, this is pretty good, I think. And all I've had to do to it so far is oil it, lube it, tune it, clean it, of course, and take that excess solder off of the contactor, the main contactor on the bottom. Still, I have no idea why they did that. That contactor is not worn that bad. But in any case, they had built up the solder so thick that the engine would just sit there and run. The wheels would just spin. It wouldn't move its own weight. So it took a grand total of a half an hour or so to get this engine running. And I've done nothing to it other than bypass the E unit and oil it. I haven't even pulled the brushes out of it yet to clean them. And no doubt they need it. And it needs a thorough cleaning. We'll probably wind up repainting this. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it yet. But for $12, you really couldn't beat it. And you can see the oxide on the wheels. So the engine had been sitting for 40 years in a box in an attic. And like I said, 12 bucks and about a half hour's work, another $9.99 up and running. So I just want to do a quick video. This just got here. This is the most this little engine has run in 40 years. I mean, it's a very long time for this thing to be sitting in a box. And yet here it is, 12 bucks and running. So I just want to do a quick video to document it. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.